And hello everyone, welcome to the final of the Friday Q&A all day here at the Dice Tower. My name is Chris Yee. You can see that in the corner, this side. This corner here, I'm pointing at an imaginary nameplate on a screen that isn't real. But I'm real, you're real, we're here, the questions are going to get real, and the answers will be as well. Gator Dave, right out the gate with a question already. So let's see if I'm able to keep up on these. He's got to run too. Is there a unique regional or ethnic add to broadcast? Okay, regional ethnic food dish you did not grow up having that is an instant order when you see it on the menu nowadays? I like food questions. Gator Dave saw me type that into one of the previous chats today. An ethnic so like a different type of food dish that I didn't grow up having. I don't know, I grew up with quite a bit of stuff, ate plenty, so I don't know. Is there anything that I've been exposed to? I never had like a seafood boil, and so my wife lived a year and a half out in the Maryland area, so she was introduced to like crab boil and that type of stuff. I didn't grow up with it. I've eaten plenty of seafood in my life, but that was a fun thing to be introduced to. So there you go. That would be me. Is my mouse scrolling a weird direction? Interesting. I don't like this. My scroll pad is now scrolling down for down and up for up. Maybe it's going right. I don't know. Wow, this is really confusing. Okay. Nope, we're good. Sean says, hear ye, in the house. Chris, what do we need to do to have you and Eric do a voice-off? I don't know. I don't know if you have anything to do with it, nor me. It's just, I don't know. I mean, first of all, we don't know what a voice-off is. I really don't. We both have voice and we both used them during the Summer Spectacular. Eric's Summer was down. If you caught any of those 2 weeks ago, last week, I guess, it's Friday, which feels weird. But yeah, last week, Eric was down for the Summer Spectacular, and it was fantastic. Or spectacular, one might say. Yes, this is a topic of conversation throughout the day. Chris, did you get a chance to see the new Iron Maiden music video in between the Q&As? I did. I made it a priority to watch it. I really liked the video. The video had a very like Samurai Jack kind of vibe to it. Western, kind of anime-inspired fight scenes and stuff. It was interesting. I disagree that... Well, I mean, okay, well, Bruce Dickinson, I almost said Bruce Campbell, and then I couldn't shake that out of my head. Bruce Dickinson, the lead singer of Iron Maiden, is still fantastic after all these years. Someone said before that his voice is showing a little bit of its age, and I mean, I guess, right? Inevitably, it befalls even the best of us. But that guy can still bring it. So that was cool. I liked it. I would say that the production of the audio was a little bit off. It sounded like you could hear him recording in a sound booth instead of having a very punchy live sound. Maybe that's what affected the clarity of Bruce's vocals, because they're usually front and center, and it sounded almost a little bit muffled and back. Now that being said, I'm not a fantastic audio engineer, and so I wouldn't know how to fix it. But I did enjoy it quite a bit. Dr. Barker, is that intro music a riff on Kashmir? No, but I kind of liked it because of that. I definitely a big Led Zeppelin fan. David M. asks, since joining the Dice Tower, what has surprised you the most? What were or were you not expecting about the Dice Tower that you're surprised by? Ooh, that's a good question. I was surprised, honestly. I was surprised how the management style that Tom has, where he I don't know, I don't want to speak for him, but I feel like he had the philosophy of, I hired you to do, fun and creative things, so I'm not going to micromanage fun and creativity. So, like, I remember the first time he said, hey, Chris, I need an intro for this new series that we're doing. And that was like that was the sum total amount of instruction that I got. I needed an intro. Okay, I've watched a lot of Dice Tower in the past, so I know kind of what to expect for that. So I got to just kind of have fun and just, I was still new to the Final Cut Pro software that we use, but I was figuring things out and everyone is super helpful, so I could ask questions when I needed to, but I wasn't like micromanaged. And so I think that was one of the surprising things is even being a new person, they were like, well, you should be halfway competent at your job, so go for it. There's so many jobs where you don't get that luxury, so I was really happy about that. Also, the people are nice, but that wasn't surprising. I think that there's good chemistry in the office, and hopefully I did not completely destroy that beautiful chemistry that there was. This is an interesting question. I don't know how to answer. Who is your favorite Finnish game designer? I don't know offhand, but that is a cool question for me to ponder about, because I don't know, to tell you the truth. Does your Dice Tower contract stipulate that you use the word mechanism rather than mechanic? No, that's one of those things that it's not a hill that I want to die on, but I understand what people mean. Mechanics is not an incorrect term, I don't think, right? It can mean both a person that repairs, but also a part of a moving piece of machinery, so to speak. And so, but mechanism is perhaps a little bit more clear, and I do believe in a bit more clarity in language, whereas we do speak often in too much vagueness. But I'm not like a grammar person. Speak correctly. Me and my friends went to a movie. That's fine. You don't have to say my friends and I, procured seats at the local cinema. It's fine. All right. The Bonnie Crew asked a question. How many genie wishes would it take before you wished for sand off? You're at the beach, and before you get in the car, you see the magic words, sand off, and boom! All of it falls off of you. That's a fantastic question, Bonnie Crew. Thank you for asking it. I don't know. It would probably be in like the 200 range, because that sounds pretty neat. But that is from a movie. That is from a movie. And one of my favorite lines is, but before Sandoff would definitely come pajamas on. So I've been waiting to see if anyone would actually answer that question. And none of my coworkers, remember that nice chemistry I was talking about? Dead to me that none of my coworkers answer this delightful question of mine. Next up, Malshik asks, why is your dice guy pushing someone off of a boat? I don't really brag about it much or anything, but I am part of a podcast that is part of the Dice Tower Network. It's called Meeple Overboard, and the little logo of it is a yellow meeple that's fallen off of a blue meeple boat from Kingdom Builder. I think the little boat piece is from. So that's kind of an allusion to our logo. Tina, the artist who does the little dice people, did this one for me, and I thought it was the most adorable little thing. It's funny because it's a very wide image, so it doesn't work for like a lot of like quick little logo things, but I like to use it when I can. I think this particular example, it looks so good. I really like it. Tina is an amazing artist, so if I ever get the chance to meet her in person and thank her for just the awesome stuff that she's done, I would love that. I would love that. David M. That's dare I ask? You dare ask, David. You dare ask everyone. Ice cream and pretzels. I don't think that I've tried it. I've tried pretzel mixed with plenty of stuff, but I've not had the pleasure nor the displeasure to try ice cream pretzel. I'm sure that would be fine because I am a salty sweet mixed person. I'm down with that. So I just worry that it'd be one of those things I'd rather have the two items separately. I had a donut burger once, and ultimately I thought, it's good. Like the sum total is not somehow like an achievement higher than the component parts, but I'd rather just have a donut separately and a burger separately. But that's just me. Monica, with the obscure question. What is the most obscure game that you've ever played? I mean, I don't know if I truly have like a deep reservoir of oddities to pull out of. I know that a couple of people here, have been gaming. Yeah, I'll just say gaming for longer than me. Tom grew up with a lot of games, and so he could pull out some very obscure titles. I don't know. One of my favorites that I play regularly is called Mamma Mia, the Uwe Rosenberg game. It's a little card memory game about making pizza toppings and stuff. That's slightly obscure uh, for a game designed by a very popular game designer. Maybe that's the best way I can answer that, because I played some weird garbagey games when I was a kid, but I don't even remember what some of those were called. All right, people being nice in the chat. I like seeing people being nice to me, nice to other folks. Be excellent unto everyone. Ooh, Stingray 166. Hey Chris, thanks for exposing me to Ethnos last week. I loved it so much. Bought it that night. Oh, this is actually okay. Yeah, this is Stingray. I didn't recognize them by their username, but yeah, the Ethnos, fantastic game. Highly recommend for anyone who hasn't tried it yet. This is an interesting question. Hi, Chris, did you ever visit the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop while in Vegas? Was curious if there's anything at all like visiting a museum. I've not visited a pawn shop literally since I was looking for my wedding ring, for the ring to propose to whom is now my wife. So no, and that was just like some run-of-the-mill pawn shop, scary, run-down looking, and not like the fancy ones. I assume this is the one from the TV show, right? But I've never been to that one at all. And I also have never watched the show, the Pawn Stars show, so I have no particular interest. I don't know. It seems like it would be like a more neat one than the kind of scary-looking one that I went to, which by the way, I did not buy a ring from. Just throwing that out there. Do you do anything fun on your week off? Yeah, I took my kid to mini golf for the first time since she was way too young to. I mean, she like poked the ball last time. This time, yeah, kid's old enough to play mini golf, so we did that. We went to an area. There's a little down in the Keys, down in the Florida Keys. There's an area where you can feed these tarpon fish. They jump out of the water. They're like 4 feet long, 3 feet. No. I don't want to exaggerate. Fish always get exaggerated. They're like 3 feet long. They're like these kind of muscular fish, and you can pay to get a bucket of these little like small fish, like 5-inch little like feed fish, and you just hold it over, and then the tarpons will jump out of the water and snatch it out of your hand. So yeah, we did a couple of things like that, adventures with the family. Then we played a few games, introduced Wendy, my wife, with whom I've done several reviews here on the channel, introduced her to Anno 1800. We played that a few times because she took a liking to it. So I had a really nice week off. Really nice week off. All right. Oh, in your previous Q&A, you mentioned liking In Flames. True. Amona Marth. Absolutely. Ghost. Yes. So with your obvious love of Swedish bands, have you ever seen Sabaton live? No, I haven't seen them live. I've honestly only really discovered Sabaton since the pandemic. Before that, I had heard a few of their songs. They did a cover of Guardians of Asgard by Amona Marth. And so I would listen to a few of their tracks. I thought they were pretty good, but then, over the last year, I was listening to a lot more of them. And so, their Great War, their album about World War I, was really good. One of those, Mike earlier spoke about, like, one of those kind of perfect albums that you can listen from cover to cover and then re-listen to. Like, I really like The Great War. I think that's one of the best albums I've heard in quite a while, along with Ghost's prequel album. All right, I'm going to keep kind of zipping along here. I don't want to fall too far behind. If you were forming a Dice Tower boy band, I dream about this every day, so thank you for finally asking, Adrian. Who would fill the roles of talented one, handsome one, bad boy, backup singer, and dancer? All of those roles go to Mike DeLisio. He's kind of the Justin Timberlake of the Dice Tower, and everybody else would be I don't know, Emile DeLargos, or one of those lesser-known, Backstreet and Sinkers. All right. First, check out the Easter eggs found in the video. I'm not sure what that is. This by Up the Irons, obviously big Iron Maiden fan. I'll have to watch it a little bit more closely. I was half watching the video and half working. Don't tell Tom. No, I'll have to watch it. The Writing on the Wall, new single by Iron Maiden. I'll have to watch the video a little bit more closely. What are my opinions on the beach? I like the beach okay. Sand is actually one of the biggest reasons. I'm going to sneeze, and I'm going to turn off my microphone really quick. Maybe, if the sneeze comes. Now that I said it, it's refusing to come. I'm going to try not to sneeze directly into the microphone. So, yeah, I really dislike the sand. The beach is also not known for being exactly clean. You know, there's a reason that there's a lot of, like, youth activity beach cleanups, because people just dump all their garbage on the beach. And so, I don't know, when you go to a nice looking clean beach, oh, it's really enjoyable. But like your average, like, let's just drive, you know, that direction until we hit a beach. Like, it's probably going to be kind of gross. Beaches are okay. But the joy of it is augmented when you have a few kids running around and splashing in the tide and everything. Like, that's where it becomes really fun, I think. This is a cool insight. Working concerts and stuff for, you know, big metal bands and whatnot with the pyrotechnics that warms up your back. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I remember I gained a lot of respect for the security guards back at the Huntridge Theater back in Las Vegas before that was closed down. That's where I saw my first concert, and the sound, you know, the security guards just standing there, you know, arms twice as thick as mine, and they're just, you know, they got their earplugs because they're standing right in front of these giant wall of speakers. And they think, oh, that much vibration just can't be good for your body, like night after night. I've never done a spicy noodle challenge besides growing up in a Korean family. So, Dat Fan, the comedian, you know, joked about his mom. You know, as he gets older, just eating more and more spicy food. Mom, what's for dinner? You know, lava! What's for dessert? Fire! It's not inaccurate. What did I do for a living prior to joining the Dice Tower team? I was an accountant. Particularly, I worked as an auditor. I was in public accounting for 2 years. I worked for Station Casinos Group in Las Vegas as an internal auditor for 2 years. And I liked internal audit a lot more. Station Casinos was a really neat company to work for, but the pandemic happened, shutdowns and downsizing of departments and stuff. And so that was, that was the last employ that I had. But yeah, so I'd done accounting for many years. And I enjoyed the field, but I always felt the need to do something creative at the end of the day. So this is kind of neat, because now my job is being creative. Well, what are a few of my favorite bands? Well, so I mentioned Iron Maiden, Amon Amarth, and I'm really enjoying Sabaton. They're kind of moving up. Ghost has moved up a lot, actually, for someone that I didn't listen to a lot until just a few years ago. I've always enjoyed classics, you know, Iron Maiden, Deep Purple, AC/DC, just a lot of classic rock. But I also enjoy a ton of ska music. So Aquabats, Real Big Fish. You can go back a little bit, you know, further into the history of ska with like Desmond Decker, and kind of go into the reggae, kind of the not the roots, so to speak, because they kind of developed, they co-developed side by side. I enjoy a lot of other stuff, and I just enjoy dumb music and pop punk rock and a little bit of what you might call more like punk rock rather than like this commercial filth out there. But I mean, I enjoy plenty of music. But yeah, that gives you a good kind of baseline idea of my tastes. Bonnie Crew, I just want to clarify, I'm not getting a tattoo. I was definitely not part of that stretch goal. I kind of jumped on and was like, you guys are doing what? When I got hired. But no, I'm just for personal reasons, I don't have any tattoos, and I don't plan to actually ever get tattoos, just as a heads up. If someone asks you for a book recommendation, regardless of genre, Jurassic Park. Done, right? Jurassic Park is such a great novel because, one, it's a fantastic movie, and people are very familiar with kind of what the movie is about. but the novel is really well written. I enjoy Michael Crichton's style, where he is almost technical at some points, and he is very educational in his writing, but also it's wrapped up in a good story. And so it, for me, at least, I don't know about everyone, but for me, I find Michael Crichton's writing when he's kind of teaching you something, like Congo is also very good, another book of his. So when he talks about like the history of ape sign language, or he talks about the history of dinosaurs and misconceptions that were learned from and whatever, when he's teaching you stuff, it's through the lens of characters having conversations, and it feels more natural than when you are watching like an educational video, and people are just sitting around, and also one of them's like, "Hey, man, tell me about blah blah blah. I will now enter teaching mode." It feels a lot more natural than that. So, immediate recommendation: Jurassic Park. Favorite novel. Mike Delisio says ellipses. I don't know what that's in reference to, Mike. So you can just let me know why you think that I'm. Why would you dare tarnish my pristine Q&A with your ellipses? Is this about the boy band thing? Look, that was a compliment. You're everything. You're the all-in-one package. Thanks, Dr. Barker. You're a wicked addition to the Dice Tower. All right. Question: you guys always seem to have a great time. Are there any days that are otherwise? Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, like there's Mike kind of talked about this earlier, right? There's an important chemistry and a bit of openness that's required with a job like this and being on camera and stuff. But also there's professionalism. Even if we're having a rough day, which does happen because we're just people, when on camera we try and be good and fun to watch, hopefully. So yeah, and that's one of the nice things is about this team, is that everyone's very understanding. Sometimes someone has a rough day, and and that's allowed. And so it's not like the environment here isn't fragile. If someone's having a rough time or whatever, everyone understands, and we're willing to help each other out however we need and stuff. So I like this. This is one of the best work environments that I've ever had. I'll just go ahead and put it that way. Is there a theme that you feel is underrepresented in board games? A little bit ago, I would have probably maybe said like nature and stuff, because we've seen a few nature-themed games. Now there's more and more coming out, but there's the self-referential stuff, like board games about board games. There's like that Shelfie Stacker game or whatever. Like a lot of that's so niche, and so people like it or don't or whatever. But I don't know. Underrepresented games. I think technology companies or AI, like that type of stuff, is yes, cyberpunk exists, but I mean like Smartphone Inc. is a game about the development of technology and stuff. So I don't know. I'd like to see maybe more of that, because I feel like that leads to development and engine building mechanisms reflecting the theme that I tend to enjoy. Who's the most competitive person that I know? That's an interesting question. I don't know. I surround myself with a lot of people, incidentally, I feel like, who are very, even if they are competitive, they're never, like, mean. So I'm not sure about that. Podcasts I enjoy listening to. Well, there's a certain podcast, part of the Dice Tower Network, called Sporadically Board. I enjoy the banter of one Dan Hughes quite a lot, and he's this co-host. He's the guy that's there all the time with him, Matthew Jude. Yeah, I think they have really good chemistry. Speaking of Iron Maiden, have you heard of Rafael Mendez? His voice sounds exactly as Bruce. He does a lot of... Oh, I think I've seen this guy. What if Bruce sang? Does he have a YouTube channel where he's just like, yeah, what if Iron Maiden did this song? Where I love music recommendations like that. Another one of my favorite musical groups is Postmodern Jukebox, because what if Barbie Girl by Aqua, or what if whatever popular song were performed in like a jazz cabaret style or whatever. I love that. I love that stuff. All right. I'm going to go through some of these. Okay. What's one thing I picked up from my parents? Okay. We were just talking about this. allergies are kicking in, and so I sneezed. Oh, it was during Z's Q&A earlier today. He said, "Oh wow, somebody sneezed," as if it was like a personal affront. Mike DeLisioism. But no, I sneeze exactly like my dad. It's loud, it's aggressive, it disrupts Q&As. I pick that up 100% from my dad. Oh, do you dip your fries in your frost? I've done that. Yeah, once again, I think I might prefer the two separate elements. The alchemical magic doesn't happen for me. I enjoy it, but I think I'd rather have fries than frosty. I'm also of the philosophy where you can eat some sweet and then eat some savory, and then when you come back to the sweet, it's all the sweeter. Am I worried that this is my little dice guy over here is going to get me banned from boarding boats and stuff? So far, the amount of people who have recognized me in public are 0, so I'm not too worried about that. Jeff, respectfully, I'm going to pass on the question, what's the biggest mistake I've made at work? Because, nah. Interesting. What are some things about Las Vegas you wish you could bring with you everywhere? I mean, just really... I talked about this last Q&A I did, right? Just late night service for places. That was good quality. All right. Nick asks, Oreo, playthrough videos. I'm not sure what exactly the need is. That's one of the things about, like, with our previous, I guess, with our YouTube channel. We haven't really done anything on the Meeple Overboard YouTube channel. We keep up our podcast, but we do playthrough videos. I love doing stuff like that. I don't know. It's hard to figure out what exactly the needs are here on the channel and stuff. So we have a little bit more space in our home now, and so we've kind of set up a dedicated game tape. I don't know if we're going to do playthroughs and stuff anymore, but we'll see. We'll see what the future holds and stuff. But yeah, I'm always glad to know that people liked our playthroughs and stuff. What am I looking forward to for Gen Con this year? I'm looking forward to going to Gen Con. This will be my first Gen Con. Having lived in Las Vegas and having very little opportunity to travel for conventions, I've not been to any of the major ones. So this is exciting. Oh, 2 games I want to see combined together, like Dead of Winter, Flick 'em Up. Ooh. I want to see just Ethnos with something like a little bit more like actual combat-y. So give me like an Ethnos Blood Rage. I think that'd be really fun. Let's see. Do I understand this question? Do you ever do something to bind up the theme with something else, like when playing games? There's a lot of people who are like, oh, let's play viticulture and drink wine. I don't drink alcohol. And so I've never quite pulled out the Welch's grape juice when playing. I do enjoy music sometimes, right? But only in certain settings. And that is typically when it's just Wendy and I playing. And we'll use music a little bit to kind of lighten the mood. Just make it less of like a... We're not super competitive, but sometimes we'll get into each other's heads a little bit, and then we'll get like, a little bit frustrated or whatever, so we'll use music as kind of like a little calmer in the background. So I love playing Tapestry to the Civilization 6 video game soundtrack. That is a killer combo, because the Civ 6 soundtrack is one of the best modern pieces of orchestration that I think has been put out there for commercial use or whatever. It's almost John Williams-esque in a really good way. So don't mind me. I am skipping a few just because I want to be mindful of continually moving down through the chat. This is interesting. Yeah, I like this topic. Gaming goals. I typically don't set many gaming goals because I want to just keep it a little bit more fluid. You know what I mean? I know some people set their 10 by 10s. I want to play these 10 games 10 times throughout the year. And I think that's admirable. Also, recognizing when we were doing our podcast that there was a little bit of need to kind of keep up with newer stuff. And now working here, there is a larger need to keep up with more stuff. So, I don't know, but one of my very fluid goals is When I've made Wendy play too many bad games in a row, I say, okay, I'm going to bring home a new good one that I know is guaranteed good. Even if it's not one I'm going to be reviewing or part of a Foursquare's review or whatever, like I'll just say, hey, this is a fun one. I know that you'll enjoy. Some people are chatting with Mike, as they should be. He's a delightful person, despite all the things that we say about him. Oh, Jason. Oh, Jason. I saw the other Q&As. I know that your question has been asked to everyone, and the truth is that everyone here is a fan favorite, and that's delightful. My pick between learning Trajan, the Gallerist, or Tricarian tonight. Whew! Tricarian's a toughie. I still don't know if I've ever played that game correctly, like all the way correctly. I've not tried Trajan yet, and the Gallerist is one that I have on the docket to relearn. It's been a few years since I played it, so time to relearn it. I have been very interested in Trajan. I know it's one of Feld's fiddly complexity games, but I've heard good enough stuff about it that I'm curious. I am very curious about it. So I would say maybe that one. What's something people are missing out on because they don't know about it? Oh, the classic, the things you never know, the things you never knew you never knew. Things people are missing out on. I'm just going to go ahead and say Hungarian food. If you've never had Hungarian food in general, you are missing out because it has some excellent stuff. I really like Eastern European, like dumplings and like the goulash and yeah, there's just a couple of really good recipes that they have. Highly recommend. Favorite in Flames album is the it's the third one. It's the one that whose name rhymes with Oracle and is. I'm going to refrain from saying it. But anyway, it's the one that rhymes with Oracle, their third one. My favorite album by far. Though Jester Race, those two are like side by side, so good. Bum 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 bum. Ooh, interesting. Another recommendation. Livstid. Okay. Live in Gothenburg. All right. Very cool. Very cool. I like that recommendation. Mike Delisio is indeed a national treasure. Okay, so this is a cool question, technical question. The beach studio, the ocean studio where Z recorded his live Q&A from, the camera there is on a manual focus, and it's a little bit more fiddly in that way because you have to manually focus it on the target, but it does create a really neat blur behind. And that setup was made specifically to have blurred background and look good. Whereas this studio, the main studio, live stream studio, whatever you want to call this one is made to be multi-purpose. Lots of different angles, different sizes of crews and stuff. The shot is constantly moving, so it's made to be more versatile. And so, yeah, it makes for a really good look. And so Z and Mike put in the effort of figuring out how to make this studio work and look good, and make that one work and look good. And that camera blur touch is a really good one. So, yeah. Yeah, another nickname for Mike, the Justin Timberlake of the Dice Tower. I'm gonna screen capture this one. Okay, that smile was just for that. All right, how am I doing? I'm not super far behind in the chat, am I? I'm trying, folks. And now everyone's just complimenting Mike. Who would be the lead singer in the Dice Tower rock band? Roy. But the lead singer in the Dice Tower big band, crooner style, that'd be Mr. Delisio. His Tom Jones is impeccable. Impeccable. Cannot be pecked. You need to cross off American beaches on the to-visit list. There's nice ones, but because I'm not a big beach person, I have been to not the best ones. Like, I'm not going to drive 2 hours because someone's like, that one's the better beach. Like, So I'm sure there's plenty of good American beaches. Don't let my my very narrow-minded field of knowledge destroy your dream. Best prank you've ever played or seen done? Back in my college days, there's a crew of us. There's a crew of us, my brother, myself, Wendy, who is now my wife, who is just an associate in our Prankstitute Society back in college, and a couple of friends. We would break into one of our. Okay, I'm going to try and make the backstory very, very short. Through our church, there's a building on many campuses, college campuses, called the Institute Building, where you can take like Institute of Religion courses. You can take just for fun courses on Bible history and other like that type of stuff, like Book of Mormon classes or whatever. And so I would do some of that in my in college, in some of my extra free time or whatever. And also has like a lounge, ping pong tables and billiards and whatever at some of them. Foosball, we were very good at foosball in college, and ping pong. So anyway, we'd go into that building. We knew some of the people who had the keys, so we would break in overnight, and we'd occasionally decorate the whole place. And so one year we turned it into a board game thing. This is way before I was into like modern board games, right? We did it as like a board game. We decorated the hallway, so it was a big Monopoly board kind of thing going down the long hallway, and we set up a living clue game where there was like new clues deposited every week. Oh, which staff member killed the president of the student society, like that type of stuff. I really like that one, but my favorite was the first year we did it was Super Mario Brothers, and we turned that place. We got tons of cardboard boxes and painted them as bricks, had them attached to strings hanging from the ceiling, question mark boxes, coins. We made a 3D little like goofy cartoony looking flagpole. We got blue butcher paper, or like the decoration paper. We did an entire huge wall in that, and we made a pixelated Mario and a little course and stuff. That was my favorite. That was my favorite prank that I've ever been part of. The Mario prank also is when Wendy and I first kind of hung out like a lot and worked on stuff together. So we blame it for our happy marriage. Favorite game I've played so far this year is Destinies. Marshwiggle agrees that Jurassic Park is an amazing book. Yeah, Michael Crichton died young, unfortunately. I need to read some more of his work, actually. I haven't read some of his later ones. Terminal Man I saw in the chat, but there's another one, Cypher or something like that. I know his last published book. So... Oh, Nightwish! Yes, I have listened to me some Nightwish in my day, but not enough. That's one of those bands I should probably explore. If you have a particularly recommended album, I would appreciate that. I like to explore a band's like one of their best albums. I feel like that helps me kind of get into their psyche a bit, and then explore a little bit more from there. Yes. I was joking with Dr. Barker, but yeah, Clara. Really appreciate your stuff, by the way, in the recently, especially in the Summer Spectacular. If you haven't checked out their stuff, we were very grateful for our contributors and everything. So, Dr. Clara in that list. Okay, so this is an interesting point, right? Tech gets dated very quickly, so having a board game themed around tech could possibly get dated. It's very true, but there's so many games about like one of my favorite games, Hansa Teutonica, is about the German postal system in the 1400s or something like that. Like, I'd rather. I mean, it's fine for the smartphone ink game is 5G. You know, I think when they put that in the game, I was like, 5G. I guess that'll happen one day. But I don't know. I'm okay with it. Maybe you need to go like. Yeah, I don't know. Do you put out update packs or something like that, or do you just understand? Like at some point, we still play board games about the development of the combustion engine. I think it's okay. No, I've not played any Hex Encounter war games. I grew up playing a lot of Axis Allies. I know that's a very, very simplified and less, roll against a chart type of stuff. So I have a little teeny bit of history with some of that stuff. I don't know. This is one of those genres, like wargaming is one of those genres where I'm not sure if I'd love it, but I think I would appreciate it if I played and dabble a little bit in some of them. World War II is a point of interest for me. I think World War One is an underappreciated historical, historical landmark, historical monument. That's really the development of a new era of warfare. This is for how long were we lined up in ranks and charging at each other, and you know what I mean? Like World War One was just brutal, and so much new developed and stuff because of it. So maybe that would be more of my field of interest. But I do appreciate the histories of World War II and stuff as well as Napoleonics and Civil War. I do appreciate all of that. Ancient history a little bit less. So, I mean, maybe World War One. Maybe that would be. Maybe that's how you get me into to play a war game. I don't know. Go-to game for newbies. I love using Forbidden Island because I feel like it's even more approachable and thematically interesting than Pandemic. But it's I mean. And here's one of those things people are like, oh, well, you shouldn't always underestimate newbies. No, you shouldn't, right? But like, on average, if I had to pick out Forbidden Island or say like Dominion, right? Like Forbidden Island is going to be more approachable and it's more visually approachable, and you describe the theme and it just entices people. You need to work together with everyone else at the table to rescue 4 treasures off of a sinking island. Sounds way more cool than like, you want to buy victory cards, but don't buy them too early because it'll clog up your deck. You know what I mean? Like, I love Dominion, and it's one of my most successful games, I think, with getting people to say, holy cow, there's so much good board gaming out there I didn't know about. So Dominion I really love, but, and to this day I still play. In fact, I'm in the beta testing group over for the app, and so I've played a lot more Dominion recently, and I'm really enjoying it. But yeah, Forbidden Island, one of the best. Favorite Guardians of the Galaxy character? It's so hard. It's so hard not to pick Drax. I'm not a comics person as much as many of the people. I mean, I've not read a lot of Marvel comics. I've read more DC, like graphic novels and stuff, honestly. But I love Drax in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. He hits the right balance of actually has character, but also like big dumb guy. Fantastic. Dave Bautista should play me in the Dice Tower movie. I think that'd be great. It's so representative. My top 5 mechanics in games. Okay, let's go. Let's see if I can do this. 1 worker placement. It's almost cliche or whatever, but I really love a good worker placement game, and it's a good point of entry. Hey, Chris, this is a worker placement game. I know like a third of the rules already, it feels like. So worker placement. Multi-use cards. After that, it gets tricky. We're gonna go with. I got to tell you, I got 2 down, folks. I'm blazing through these questions. All right. I mean, after that, I really like card drafting as well. I don't know if that's guaranteed 3rd place. I like simultaneous action selection type stuff, and then I really love rolling dice as an input randomness thing. So dice manipulation or dice control type of thing. Roll some dice based on this. Oh, dice drafting is my number 3. And then afterwards it'd be like card drafting and stuff. Like that's one of my favorite forms of dice manipulation. Bam, did it. All right, let's keep moving along here. Glad you people like my sense of humor. All right. Last name Yi is Korean. Both my parents are from Korea. Born and raised in Las Vegas, but my parents emigrated in 1978 directly from Korea, and I don't particularly look like it. I sometimes get people assuming maybe like half American or half something along with Korean, but no, full Korean. I haven't done a 23andMe though, so I mean I'm curious. There's allegations of some Russian blood along in the line. which most Koreans wouldn't really like fess up to because there's a lot of nationalistic and pride in Korea. People are talking about Arby's for some reason. One of my favorite Simpsons quotes. The kids are all marooned on an island. It's Lord of the Flies episode of The Simpsons, and there's two twin girls. One of them says, "I'm so hungry. I would eat at Arby's." Oh, please answer the question that someone asked Z about what foods bring up good memories. A gigantic pot of curry. Oh, I love the smell of curry cooking in the kitchen. It just wafts through the whole house. And that is one of those, brings back childhood memories. It's one of my favorite dishes my mom would make. Yeah. Giant pot of curry, stinking up the place. I also have a lot of fond memories of the smell of kimchi. That's just... I do like that, but I've always loved curry a little bit more. What old game do you think doesn't get enough attention or played by newer gamers? I mean, most of them, to be fair. But, I mean, really, there's just so few, true evergreen games. There's games that are evergreen for, 5 years and then just fall off, but, I don't know what's going on with the Hansa Teutonica big box release. I haven't seen it anywhere in the United States. I haven't seen it in, game stores or whatever, so... I'll go with that one. Hansa Teutonica. Such a good game. What is my favorite part about working at the Dice Tower? Why is it the marble races? The camaraderie. I love the camaraderie. Even if I can't spell camaraderie, I appreciate it here a lot. How am I doing with the chat? Is there a band that Roy, Mike, and I all agree is awesome? Probably plenty, but I don't know. We've had some conversations about this, but yeah, that'd be fun to see the Venn diagram. What's in the middle? Nintendo will be contacting you soon for copyright infringement. Oh, is this about the Mario prank? Okay, yeah. Oh, no. Yeah, plenty of people are going to sue me. It's fine. Have I played any of the expansion for Destinies? I have. And I will talk about it in my rapid fire roundup, the next one that we do. But maybe it's just me. I kind of prefer the base game scenarios. Now I still really enjoyed my play of the Sands of Sea of Sand expansions. But no, I mean I liked a lot of what it had to offer, but I thought that the base ones were written a little bit better. But I'm still going to play whatever the next one is once it gets added to the app. All right. How am I doing? This is some there's some nice chatter back and forth. Have I been doing okay keeping up with the chat? I feel like I'm almost at the bottom. All right. Are you a big Doom guy? If yes, which of the current or upcoming games interests me the most? Really like Dune Imperium. I've been impressed with it. It's one of those games that my appreciation of it keeps going up as I'm playing it more, and when we've been having game nights and stuff, people have been walking by going, "Ooh, Dune Imperium, can someone teach that?" I'm like, okay, fine. Pull my arm. But, pull my arm. No. Twist my arm. Pull my finger. Okay. Pull my finger. I'll teach it. So the expansion for that sounds really neat. I'm liking that. As for the other stuff, I like I've wanted to try playing the original Dune board game, the 1978 one or whatever, but it just I don't think I would truly love it. I think I would appreciate it, it'd be interesting, but I know it's just long and kind of mean. But I think it's Gale Force 9 is coming out with a 30 to 60 minute kind of reduction of it, and I'm curious about that. That's for sure something I will play. And I think that Roy is interested as well, so he'll probably be the one to rope me into a game of it. Any particular upgrades to games that I particularly love? Metal coins, always, or poker chips. I actually use we just introduced someone last night, in fact, to Airlines Europe. And we're partway through the game, and I was like, and they were really liking it. There were this couple that are new to the area, and so we were teaching them, and they were talking about how interested they were in this Airlines Europe game, how much they were enjoying it. So I was like, hey, just so you know, like the poker chips are not standard. And I pulled out the paper money, and they were like, oh, good call with the chips. So I'd like to say that I'm a good host of game nights, but the like a nice set of poker chips or something like that is the best upgrade for many a game. And that's the type of thing that I typically use more is I like upgrades that are like multi-game, multi-purpose. So poker chips or metal coins are always nice. Some nice component bins or bowls or something like that. I tend to like that rather than stuff for a single game. But also painted minis. You know, that's single game specific, but I really like it. Oh, Jesse, thank you so much. I'm just going to put this up here for my, and I'm going to screenshot this for my feel good folder, because there's days when you need to just open up the feel good about yourself folder and remember that people appreciate what you do. And so I hope that other people get to tell you, Jesse, that they appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you taking a minute to brighten up my day. And so I hope that your day is all the better for it. Thanks, man. Have I ever jumped off a small waterfall? Not to my recollection, not on purpose. I haven't gone... No, I have. I think I went cliff jumping once. There's Warm Springs out in Las Vegas. I think I did that. I don't remember. I grew up with a childhood fear of heights, actually. I don't know why I'm telling the internet this. I'm going to wind up tomorrow morning in an escape room where I have to jump off of a waterfall in order to, you know, escape from a giant explosion or something like that. Interesting. Anyway, so yeah, the explosion will push me to safety. That's a movie. That's a review that I heard of the Black Widow movie recently. In fact, Bonnie Crew says that they saw Haunted to Hanukkah big box on clearance. I don't know. I haven't really seen it. Well, also, to be fair, I haven't gone to very many game stores in the last year, I guess, since it was out. Just Tim's store, Meepleville, back in Las Vegas. Tim, who runs Dice Tower West. So he didn't have it in pretty much ever. So I don't know. But also, I guess I've not lived in Las Vegas for over half a year now, so I don't know. Am I interested in the Dune House Secrets from Portal? Indeed. I really like the sound of their detective game system, and it's one of those that, like, it was high up on my list of, like, top game of 20... was it 17 or 18 when it came out? Like, it was super high up on my list of, like, games I gotta play that year. And I never played any of their detective games. And this iteration of it sounds pretty neat, but I also know very little about the theme of Doom, so I'm hoping that they simplify it enough for dum-dums like me, who I know how to pronounce some of the names, and I know spice. Spice is nice and will suffice. That's what Mr. Doom says in the intro of the movie. Question, are you a completionist? Absolutely not. I really am not. There's two games that I now own all of the expansions for, which are Elder Sign and Terraforming Mars, and that's because I was essentially gifted the stuff that I didn't have left over. So that was cool. I don't know. I'm not a completionist. I'm really not, and I think that I'm probably happier for it, that I don't feel the need to buy terribly much stuff. And especially when I know that they're like, oh, there's an expansion, that sounds okay, maybe it's not to my tastes. Oh, that's fine, I don't need it then, you know. I don't know, that's just me, though. Favorite 3 Stonemaier games? That's an interesting question. So for sure, Viticulture's up there, and then next up, I'm afraid that I'm going to mess this up, you know, because this is written in stone, and I certainly cannot change my opinion, 2 minutes after ending the live video. But like, Viticulture is probably my favorite. I really enjoy Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig. I've been playing that a lot recently. Review of the expansion is coming out here shortly, so look out for that. And then, what's the obvious one I'm missing? I'm not a huge fan of Wingspan nor Scythe, actually, so that's weird because that's 2 of their biggest games. Tapestry is quite good. I'll think about it later. Bum 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 bum. Am I a sportsman in any regard? Thanks for assuming that. No, I really love racquetball. I haven't gotten any of the gang out here to play it yet. Now it's too hot outside, but there's a couple of outdoor racquetball courts, I should say, uh, nearby, nearby where we live, tennis courts and stuff. I'd like to get back into that. I played a lot of ping pong like back in college, and that led to. Uh, then we kind of got into racquetball as well, and so I'd like to get back into that. Man, I really need the movement, that's for sure. But, whew, it's hard. It's hard to get back into like an intensive exercise type thing, and that's one of those things that's hard to get back into. What are some stuff on my bucket list? I want to tell a joke so bad that Tom just ends the live stream. No, not really. I've got a good life. I'm gonna pull a Tom Vassell and say, I'm rich with blessings. I'm rich with just a good life. Like this is unbelievable. Like when I stop and think about like, oh, I work at the Dice Tower. This is great. You know, I'm excited to go to some of these big conventions I've never been to before. I'm excited about some of that stuff. But I don't know. Do I have big bucket list stuff? I've accomplished quite a few things in my life that I've wanted to. But I know there's still stuff out there. I don't know. I'd like to. I'm really, really hoping that Mike and I's barbershop quartet takes off. Just at the end of the day, you know, me, Mike, Roy, Z, Tom, Kenny, any of you that want to join in this barbershop quartet, sky's the limit. Any number of people can be in a quartet if you try hard enough. What was Mike's reaction when I played him his theme song for the first time? It was really happy. I liked working on Mike's song, and so. But the first time I played it for him, it was just an idea, and it wasn't like fully fleshed out yet. And I just had my acoustic guitar, and I was playing it, and he was like, "Oh, that sounds good," you know. And so when I first like recorded it and had him play, he went. It was a lot nicer. It was because it wasn't just me with the guitar going like, "I think it's gonna go like this. What do you think, Mike? Is it good?" I mostly was playing it for him, saying like, "There's nothing in here that you object to morally, right?" Wow, I think I'm well caught up with the chat here. So yeah, if there's anything else that y'all want to throw out real quick, we just got 2 minutes left. This has been a pleasure. This has been real fun. Maybe this will be the joke that makes Tom end the stream. What did Yoda say when he saw himself in 4K? HD, am I? I'm going to tell my penguin joke. Man runs into a bar. Says, bartender, how tall do penguins get? And the bartender kind of chuckles at him. And the guy has this real panic look on his face and says, bartender, is this important? How tall do penguins get? And the bartender just is kind of disconcertedly laughing. He says, wow, is this important? He goes, bartender, this is super important. How tall do penguins get? Bartender says, 3-4 feet max. The guy turns pale. He says, oh no, I ran over a nun. So that is a joke that I shared in my physical geography class. I had a real goofball professor. And so, yeah, he always asked the class for a joke. And so I came prepared because I was the only person who ever shared a joke to start off that class. Oh yeah, I'm glad that people appreciate it. This is we figured that this would be a nice. I figured that this would be a nice way to come back on a Friday, get some of our work done, but also have some nice content for all y'all, letting us enjoy a nice few days off. Jason asks, do I feel the pressure to have a Kennedy impression? I do less of a John F. Kennedy impression, more of a Mayor Quimby impression from The Simpsons, which is just a poor impression of Kennedy. I did not do the thing. I don't really have a fun zippy line to say. I am going to end the live stream now. There you go. How about a nice Mike DeLisio song to close it out? Mike DeLisio! He's a man! He's a man who has a plan! And he has a Kennedy impression that is pretty good! Especially when he does it back and forth with Z. And that's my song, folks. So, thank you everyone for coming on out. This was an absolute joy. I hope that you all had half as much fun as I had, because I had plenty of fun. And I had to remember for a minute how to actually end this video. That would be delightfully embarrassing. But anyway, thanks so much for everyone for coming out to our all-day Friday Q&A. Hey, my name is Chris Yee from the Dice Tower. Wishing you all a great day. Have a good one.